Hi everyone, it's Alexandra here, and today I'm going to be doing a plan with me video for the week of May 9th to May 15th. I'm going to continue with my May flowers theme for this week, but I'm going to do the 2-page spread where I combine my dailies and my weeklies, and I am going to be doing a mason jar theme filled with flowers. I'm going for more of a pastel kind of look, and I'm going to be using my pastel Tombow dual brush markers to color in the various flowers and the fonts and the text that I will be putting in. So I'm going to just draw it out, and then I will explain everything. I'll do a voiceover to explain everything that I'm doing. So enjoy. So what I decided to do is draw in a mason jar for the center of the 2-page spread. I had gotten this idea based on a Lister's Got a List prompt back in February, and I loved how it turned out, so I wanted to replicate it for this spread since I am going with the May flowers theme, and the flowers that I had drawn, I just loved how they turned out, so I wanted to again replicate it here. So what I am doing is drawing in the mason jar, and I am going to go across the 2 pages here to tie it into both pages to make it look cohesive. So it will span the 2 pages. And basically now what I am doing is I am drawing out these flowers, and they're not hard to draw at all. You start out from the center, you add in little squiggly lines alternating where one ends and one begins. And before you know it, you have these blooming flowers that are not hard to draw at all. Forgive that my head is in the shot here, but when I get into the zone, I guess I really look closely at what I'm drawing. So I apologize for that. Okay, and for this, I believe I do 5 flowers. So I'm just basically working my way around and drawing in the flowers in various sizes. For the drawing, I am using a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen in the S size. I find that if I know I'm going to go over any particular drawing with the Tombow dual brush markers, I find that the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens or the Pigma Micron pens work the best because they don't bleed. So the black ink won't smudge onto the Tombows. So I'm adding some leaf elements here, drawing in some more flowers. And as you can see, I mean I've sped this up, but they don't take long to draw at all. So I always start from the center and I work my way outwards. For this also, like I mentioned, I am sticking with a pastel theme for this week. So you're going to see a lot of baby pinks, mint green, lilac, lavender, peach. Okay, so now I am drawing in the stems. Yeah, you see me here. I'm flipping back to the other time I did the weekly and the daily. Spread. So now I'm writing in the header in a nice script. I always feel that script font goes so well with anything floral. So as you can see, I'm darkening the downstrokes on just to give it a faux calligraphy look. That's the easiest way to achieve that look, in my opinion, especially if you're not a calligrapher. So now I don't like using rulers, as you can see. That's the great thing about the dot grid. You can just connect the dots. I'm adding in more leaf elements here on either side. Now I'm separating out the top and the bottom portion. Obviously the top is where all my days of the week will go. The bottom portion will be where my to-dos, my notes, and my meal planning goes. So I'm just counting out now roughly how many dots in I should go. It's about 8 for those of you that are wondering, give or take. Writing in the days of the week. I usually go Monday through Saturday on the top, and then Sunday will go right below Saturday. Now this is a good spread to use also if you don't have a lot going on any particular week. If you're really busy, I don't know if this layout would work as well, but it's fun to experiment and see what you can do. So here I'm writing in the days, the dates for next week. Just keep referring back to the old spread I did. And then what I do underneath, I'm going to add in the little degree signs for the temperature. So I already have it marked off for when I do record the weather. I know where the high and the low temperature for the day will go. And then in the middle, I will put in the weather icon. Then what you'll see is I'm going to put in my time tracker. Now because this is a more condensed layout, I have to put the time tracker along 3 lines. So what I do is I start from 1 in the morning and it goes to 8 in the morning on the first line, 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon on the second, and then 5 in the evening to midnight. So that's what I'm basically going to do now for all of the days of the week. This is also a good way to incorporate more color into your bullet journal as you shade off the different sections of the day. I go into more detail about the colors that I use for shading in my daily planning video, so you should check that out because I do get a lot of questions on what the time tracker is and what it signifies. And it's been a really cool feature that I've embraced in my spreads. Now, normally also I would include, the sunset and sunrise, but for the purposes of not having enough space, I'm not going to do that this week. Okay, so next what I am going to do is write in the headers for the bottom. So I'm going to write in to do and put a banner. Again, carrying out that cursive script font, darkening the downstrokes. Then I'm going to do my meals on the right hand side. And already putting in the days of the week for my meal planning. And then I didn't realize when I recorded this that you can't see when I write in on the bottom of to do. I also write in another banner for notes. So I apologize that you guys can't see that. And because I had extra space in the Friday slot, I decided let me just doodle in another flower here. And then we get to the fun part, the coloring. So basically what I'm doing here is I am taking my darker shade for the flower. So in this case, it's pink. And I take the dark pink and I work from the center and I work my way out. And then I'm going to take my lighter pink and go around the edges here to give it a more three-dimensional look, and obviously to incorporate more color. Then I'm going to do the same thing but in a purple colorscape, the lavender, lighter lavender on the outer edges. And I love the look of the Tombos because it just gives it that watercolor effect, especially when you're using the light colors. So here I'm going to do a peachy hue. Now I'm just using a mint green and going over all the leaf accents, as well as the stems. Just putting some finishing touches. And then what I do for the mason jar is I take my, for the bottom portion, I take my light blue Tombow dual brush marker and I just work the outside. I go around the outer edges halfway up because that's the part where there's water in the mason jar. And then what I do is I take my colorless blender. Okay, the colorless blender, it has no color obviously, but it does, it gives the Tombows a more blendable quality. So I use the colorless blender and I pick off some of the blue color onto my colorless blender so that it's a lighter shade of blue. So it kind of gives it a more watercolor effect. So it looks like there's water in the mason jar. Then I take a gray color and then on the top half, I use the same technique, just picking the color off of the marker onto my colorless blender with the gray so that the top part looks like it's actual glass. Then I'm going to take my mint green Tombow and color in the leaf accents up on the top. Color in that little flower with the pink. Then I'm going to shade in the borders of the banners, and then I take my colorless blender and I kind of shade in the white parts just to give it a lighter color in it, just to give it a watercolor effect. And as you can see, the black from the Faber-Castell pen really doesn't smudge, which is why these are so great. Then I'm going to take my light blue and just go over the header up on top just to give it some more color. And then I am going to then draw in a line separating the to-do from the notes section. And that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed.